Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to move beyond the buzzwords and hype surrounding artificial intelligence and start using it as a real tool for growth. Our next speaker is a fellow entrepreneur and the perfect guide for this journey. He's an expert at cutting through the complexity and showing other business owners how to get tangible, practical results from AI. So tonight, he's going to show us exactly how to leverage these tools for efficacious content creation, smarter deal analysis, and automating the repetitive tasks that eat up our valuable time. Get ready for a session packed with actionable strategies that you can implement tomorrow. So please put your hands together for our keynote speaker and welcome Clayton Smith. Clayton.
All right. Thank you very much, Tracy. Good evening, everybody. Folks, it takes a lot of work to put on a presentation like this. I'm not talking about my presentation, but just the whole event here. And it is great to have a forum where we can all come together and talk about ideas, talk about making money, talk about bettering our lives. So I wanted to give a hand to Devin, Tracy, and the Mogul team here tonight. So please join me in giving them all a good round. All right, and also, of course, a hand for the people online there. So we see you. Give them a hand too. Don't let them feel left out. All right, so I wanted to talk to you folks here tonight about AI. Who here is dabbling with AI? You're playing with AI, or you've got a ChatGPT account? How many here have ChatGPT right now? Okay, good. Not everybody. Who does not? Okay, so a couple of you. Okay, good. Now, how many of you are paying for ChatGPT right now? Okay, almost the same. Okay, good. All right, so, well, maybe not so good because I might not have anything new to tell you about here. So what I was just going to cover here tonight is just a little bit of what AI is and what AI is not. Try to demystify things a little bit for people that are just wanting to get into it or wanting to find out how to use AI, how to make their lives a little more efficient, and how to maybe get through some deals quicker, make a little bit of money with it. There's a lot of ways that I use AI today, and I'll get into some of that. We'll get into some prompting techniques, because prompting is kind of how you get the juice out of AI. So we'll go through a little bit of that, and then I've got a few things you can download here. I'll tell you about those towards the end of the presentation. So a little bit about what AI is and it isn't. It is basically, it's a pattern predicting tool, and it is, you know, I kind of debated about putting some of these slides up here because I don't want to get too much into the weeds on things. I want to get into what the practical stuff is, the stuff that you just need to know. But just for a little bit of background, it's a multiplier of your time and for your creativity. So you are still going to be important in this process here. You're hearing a lot of talk these days about AI that's going to take everybody's jobs over. It's going to put everybody on the unemployment line. We're going to need modern monetary theory to basically feed everybody, and so everybody can just sit around and be philosophers all day. I don't know what's going to happen, but right now it's a way to kind of leverage yourself and your own capabilities. That's a big, probably the biggest thing that I would say that you can think of in terms of AI. Some things to be aware of: AI isn't always accurate. So for those of you that have played with ChatGPT, have you ever tried to give it some math problems? How does it do? Yeah, so you've really got to be careful with some of the information that comes out of it. You're still going to need to verify a lot of things that come out of AI. So you want to make sure that you're not just copying, pasting, and definitely not taking this information to the bank without a little bit of verification. All right, so just a few examples of how I personally am using AI today. I use AI a lot in my own production business. So a lot of what I do is I produce a lot of videos for real estate projects, and I use AI for basically for the full production process. So I use it to basically start writing a script. I use it to catalog the videos that I have to put together the script with. I use it to generate voiceovers for the videos. So I can show you the platform I use for that. I use it for coaching, for teaching. So for teaching special techniques. on how to do things. There's these animated maps that I create as part of my process. I didn't know how to do that about 6 months ago. I got ChatGPT to teach me step by step how to do all of that stuff. And you can all do that too. So if there's anything you want to know, ChatGPT can be your instructor to learn whatever technique is that you want. Oh, a couple of other things there. Brainstorming, business strategy. I've got a tool that might help you do that later. So we'll get into that. Coding websites. I built a website, built a few websites, built a few online tools. I built tools that I actually use in my business to make my life a little easier. So I talked about how I catalog media assets. Well, I asked ChatGPT to help me create a tool that I installed on my computer that will go through a file folder, and it catalogs all of the video files that are on there. And then I can just go ahead and I can easily make notes, and then I can take the notes, feed that back into ChatGPT. We can get into some of that later. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds right now. So there's a few tools or a few platforms that are out there. These are some of the most popular AI platforms that are available right now. ChatGPT, most people have heard of it. How many people here use Grok? One person? One person uses Grok? Or is it just the people that will admit to it because they don't like Elon Musk? Okay. I use it. Grok is actually my backup. So I don't have the paid subscription for it, but ChatGPT sometimes gets a little bit backed up, and then that's when I switch over to Grok to carry on with whatever I want to do. Gemini is a popular one here. Gemini comes with, if you've got an Android, who's an Android person here? That's it. Everybody else is Apple. Geez, my hand was still up. I'm an Android guy. Gemini comes with I think it comes with every Android device now. So you've already got it on board there. Especially if you've got a Gmail account, you've got Gemini. Copilot from Microsoft. So I've heard somebody say, and I think this is true, that basically it's Microsoft's white label for ChatGPT. Okay, I see some nodding heads here. So, okay, and you use Copilot. We got some Copilot users here. Okay, I actually don't like Copilot for some reason. I don't know why. It just the first time I used it about a year ago, it just didn't give me what I was looking for. It was very basic, and it just it wasn't impressive. So I haven't used it much. This is another one here. I debated putting this slide up because I don't want to get too much into the academic weeds on what it is. The reason why I did put this in, you can actually blame Devin for it, because we were talking about this weekend, and he said, you might want to put what GPT stands for in there. So I've got it here, generative, how many times did I go through this? Pre-trained transformer. There you go. I went through this so many times this weekend when I was rehearsing this, and do you think I could remember that? It doesn't roll off the tongue, so it's hard to remember. But there it is, just so you know, just so that the guy that's standing at the front of the room told you what it is. Now you know. All right. We'll get into prompting a little bit here. Prompting, if you can think of AI as an assistant, an assistant with basic knowledge, you have to train, and it doesn't read your mind. So think of it as kind of an intern. You have to be very specific with what you're giving, with what you're asking of AI, and you have to be specific with what you're looking for. So in terms of just, you have to be, there's a way that you give the descriptions, and I've got a piece that, a document that you can download later on that will help you with some of that. One of the things I like to do is I like to have the AI, as part of my request, I like to have it interview me. So one of the things I'll add, I'll say, ask me 3 questions, one at a time. That's important, otherwise it'll just avalanche you with a bunch of questions. But ask me 3 questions, one at a time, to refine your answer. And usually it does that. Usually it'll just ask you one question, and it'll go on to the next, and it'll go on to the next. All right. AI can also refine your prompt. So you can actually ask AI to give me a good prompt. You can basically throw a bunch of information at it, say I want a good prompt from this, and then it'll give that back to you. All right. Some tools that I use, and I'm going to go through this presentation fairly quickly, and then we've got a lot of time for Q&A after here. So I want to make sure that people's eyes aren't glazing over too quickly here, because if we get too far into the weeds, it can happen. But a few tools that that are out there that you can use. You can try these. Otter.ai, this is one that I use a lot. I use this for transcribing meetings. So if you have an online meeting, you have an online call, or if you have I've got a microphone here, I'm recording myself as I'm doing the presentation. I can take the transcription from this, from Otter.ai, and then I can use that later on by feeding that whole transcript into ChatGPT, and then extracting some insights and some ideas out of that for posts. 11 Labs, that is the platform that I use for producing voiceovers. What is neat with this, you can produce music with this. You can even duplicate your own voice with this platform. So if you ever thought of creating an audiobook and you just thought, oh my God, I can't sit for 14 hours and just read this book out. Well, you just put the whole thing into 11 Labs and it'll just read it out for you. There's actually an audiobook that I bought recently, and the author said that he actually made the whole thing with ChatGPT. And he had an AI voiceover. He didn't say it was this specifically, but it was an AI voiceover through the whole thing. And you could tell because there were it's not perfect yet. There's a few little things in the tone, a few little items where something sounded like a question, but it wasn't said as a question, so it doesn't quite get the tone right. And there was another part where another speaker started to adopt an Australian accent. So that was a little odd. Sora, that is, if you're a ChatGPT user, you might be familiar with Sora. Sora is a video and image generating platform. And you can use that to create some very impressive art, lifelike images, and also short video clips that a lot of them are fairly impressive. I've done that a few times, and it's pretty neat what you can do when you start getting into this. Some advanced resources, especially for real estate investors, custom GPTs. What a custom GPT is, it's basically a customized AI, and you could either look at it as a reusable prompt, but it is basically your own GPT that is programmed with your own set of instructions. And you can tweak it, you can refine it, and you can keep on using it, and it'll keep on delivering fairly consistent outputs. I can also help you develop that. So if you want to talk about that later, we can get into that for sure. Ballparkhousing.com. That is the reason why I bring that up. It's being developed locally here. Akeem Brown. Actually, Akeem is developing that site. It is powered by AI, and it uses AI to really speed up the analysis process for property developers. So definitely, it's one tool that you can use out there. Definitely talk to Akeem if you're interested in that. Builder Chat. There's some guys that I ran into here. I was introduced to them just in the last few weeks, and they're building a platform, or they're basically building a service that helps builders to basically retain leads and increase conversions. They're also able to do that for service providers and for realtors. Anybody that has a website, they can install an assistant on that website that lives on that website 24/7. And it's not a chatbot. It's an AI-powered interactive tool that can help it basically can have an ongoing interactive conversation with a prospect. And then it'll be able to help the sales team with delivering that prospect and hopefully turn them over into a sale. How many here have heard of automated voice agents? Oh, great, a few people, not too many though. Have you tried any of them? Were you impressed? Yeah, they've come a long way just in 6 months. So what an automated voice agent is, it's basically it's an AI-powered live agent that you can speak with. So you can have a phone conversation with. The voice is totally AI generated. The responses are powered by AI, and it can be difficult. Lately, it can be difficult to tell if you're talking to AI or if you're actually talking to a human being. Where you get a where it'll hint to you that you're actually talking to an AI, sometimes there are pauses that are just a little longer than what would be natural. Other than that, the voice is pretty clear. what AI is going to allow us to do, it is going to change how we do everything. 5 years from now, we're not going to be doing a lot of the things we do now when it comes to any kind of a repetitive task, any job that relies on templates. A lot of that is going to get automated. When it comes to things like generating content, generating ads, things like that, we're going to be using AI for that a lot. And we're just going to be able to send a task to an AI assistant of some sort. And what we're going to be doing as creative people, as salespeople, as entrepreneurs, we're going to be basically directing virtual employees. So it allows us to go from doers to directors. So that's going to free up a lot of time for some people. For some people, it's going to free up more time than they like. So, because some people are going to have to learn how to do things a little bit differently. Their repetitive jobs are going to probably go by the wayside. If you think about it, think about things like receptionists in some ways. So we were just talking about virtual voice agents, right? The technology has come so far in the last few months to make it almost indistinguishable. You think of where that's going to be in about another year and a half, 2 years, right? We are going to be at the point where you can just, that assistant is probably going to have to find some other role, or it might be up to us as entrepreneurs to help find a better use for some people, and so that they're not doing these repetitive jobs that an AI can do quite cheaply. So in the big picture, AI is just a tool. It's actually a tool that can build a lot of other tools. So it's not something to be mystified. It is something to get familiar with. And what I would suggest is to start getting into a daily habit of using AI every day. And that means, well, how many people are still doing Google searches? A couple of people admit it. A few people admit it. Okay. How about instead of using Google, use an AI platform, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's Grok, use that instead.
Why?
Just to start getting used to it, because it's going to replace Google. Google is pretty well going by the wayside as it is anyway. AI is able to come up with different answers, and in some ways better answers. And I'm just going with my experience with it. I rarely use Google anymore.
What are you searching?
How to do fill in the blank. Or if you want to go and, I don't know, if you want to, even travel plans, recipes. You can design recipes.
Property?
What's that?
I put addresses in, but actual poems like you put in companies or particular company or property address, it actually pull the existing property information or companies, directors and everything. Like board have you going on this week?
Yeah, and I'm just scratching the surface at some of this stuff here. Research as a research tool, it can be pretty powerful as a research tool. Some platforms are better than others, but as far as doing research, it can find a lot more information. It can go deeper than what just a regular person would be, just staying up till 3 a.m, filtering through a whole bunch of web pages. So, yeah, there is really a lot of ways that it can be used. So,
sorry, we're gonna have a mic available for people.
Oh,
to
sure.
Comments here, but
yeah,
that's okay.
That's okay.
People, but one of the things I did want to add as to why it is better to go to something like ChatGPT than Google search is that when you search something, keep in mind that the top stuff that comes up has been paid for. So there's a huge bias.
Oh, good
on
point.
Google.
Yes.
Whereas if you go to ChatGPT, at this point, there is nothing that's beat in ChatGPT to have that thing pop up. So you're going to get a completely unbiased recommendation as opposed to be biased on Google's.
Right. As far as I know, there's no paid, a way to elevate searches on AI platforms like through ChatGPT. Now it depends on where. I just saw here in the last few weeks that it's interesting how ChatGPT has been trained. Apparently, it's using a lot of Reddit and Wikipedia. So we do want to be careful with that. And that's why it's important to verify the information you're getting out of these. So if you're if you want help creating some kind of a report or a proposal or anything like that, AI is good right now for doing a lot of that heavy legwork, like just of actually just grinding out the paragraphs. But you've got to take the time, go through it, and review the information that's in there to make sure that if you're passing this information on to somebody else, that this information is good. So you still have to verify it at this point. Now, give it a few years, and the technology will evolve so much, so fast, that a lot of that is probably going to get taken care of. Like you're going to be able to trust the technology. Right now, you're just not quite able to trust that technology yet. Not enough to sign off on it. All right, so that kind of concludes the formal part of the presentation here. There is a QR code up there. That takes you to my website. There is a document that you can download there that has a prompting guide, and then there's a list of resources that you can refer to there. The other thing that I wanted to mention, that if you want help with things like creating custom GPT, implementing AI into your business, I can help you with that too, on top of some of the media services that I offer. But you can go to my website there. It's got my links, and you can connect with me that way on social. Other than that, we'll take a few questions. We've got how much time do we have, Nico? We got lots of time. Okay, so we got some time for some questions. So I'll take a couple of questions, and then I wanted to do a demo on using ChatGPT here. We're a little bit challenged. I would have liked to have done a live demo actually on the computer, just because of the way the setup is here, and we're transmitting this on Teams to the world. There was a little more technical stuff that we would have had to go through to do a live demo, but I'll pull out my phone and I'll actually show you how to use your phone to do a little trick here. So any questions, folks?
Any questions? Yeah, no one over here. While I'm walking over, I will say, there are people like that gay want to say use ChatGPT, because that's like pretty.
Just use ChatGPT.
It's school, the OG for ChatGPT, but
Oh, I wouldn't quit. I've only been playing for about 2 or 3 years with it, but.
Okay, you still use it?
Oh yeah, use it all the time.
Okay, and what's your question?
How do you deal with the privacy aspect of it in terms of putting information in, or if it recreates your voice? How do you protect anybody else from taking it?
Okay, good question. So on the privacy aspect, and one of the things that you've got to keep in mind that whenever you're dealing with any kind of a digital platform like this, that information is getting stored somewhere. And at some point, somebody could very well get access to it. Actually, I think there was some kind of it wasn't necessarily a leak, but it was found out that a bunch of conversations were put on Google and available for searching, and people were using ChatGPT like a psychiatrist, and they were putting some very personal bits of information in there. People are putting contracts in there and things like that. So you want to make sure that when you're using ChatGPT for, as you're interacting with it, you want to kind of anonymize things a certain way. Instead of saying, I have this issue, maybe you might want to say a partner or a client has this issue, and try and avoid using personal names. Because just assume that this information could well get out there. So you want to make sure that you're avoiding the use of that, and personal, and make sure you're treating especially client information with a lot of sensitivity, because you don't want a situation where your client's information gets out onto the internet, because that could be a bit of an embarrassing problem for you and expensive. Another question.
Yeah, do we have any more questions? Just asking for a friend, right?
That's right. Asking for, exactly. You got it.
I didn't listen to my husband at all, but I listened to Clayton.
I am not going to get into that.
I have a friend who surfs the internet and sees categories of
Learning fast.
as about learning AI in the next 30 days or in the next 60 days or whatever. How do you tell the good tools from the bad tools?
I think that a lot of those, I've taken a couple of them, and I think they all have some good information, and a lot of it, the thing is, I think a lot of it is available out there for free anyway, and ChatGPT can teach you a lot of this. Of course, it's all going to, like, I've gone into ChatGPT and come up with some just amazing plans for monetizing different ideas, but it comes down to the implementation. It still comes down to you, or you've got to hire the right resources to do it. You've still got to put all that stuff into action. So the course, just how many people here have taken a real estate course? Is taking a course just enough to make money in real estate? No. So it's the same kind of idea. There is some good information in there. There's some good techniques. A lot of times, especially with the lower level courses, they give you just enough to upsell you onto the next level, right? Take you from the $27 course to the 3-day boot camp for $200 to the $10,000 coaching program or anything like that. None of us have ever heard of that program before, have we? I've heard never, that we'll admit to. So, not this week, exactly. All right. Any other questions? We got time for
While I'm thinking about it, can I say an interesting story that I read?
Yes.
About the like chat GPTs, etc. So apparently, when they were programming them, they didn't anticipate how polite people were going to be. And so by people, like all people saying, "Oh, thank you, ChatGPT, that was very helpful," that uses up extra energy. And so as they were first doing the calculations for how much power it would need for these search engines, he actually had calculated it all in because we're too polite. Because they're saying thank you. And you're like, "Oh, that was nice."
Our return is remember me.
That's
Nice to you.
And he remembers you?
That's my theory. That's exactly my theory. I do say please. It's just kind of the way that I talk. But when I'm typing in a request, a lot of times I'll say please. And just in case the bots take over one day and we're in a Terminator situation, maybe that one, maybe they'll remember. Maybe they'll remember.
That one, thank you, ChatGPT.
That's right.
You, right? I'd like to think that that's Canadians probably that are doing that.
Yeah, it probably is. We're often too
Or
nice.
Apologies. Oh, sorry, ChatGPT.
That's right.
But that also makes me feel good about humanity still, to know that ChatGPT is using up too much energy because we're too nice to it.
That's right.
That's to not say thank you or please or sorry for the next 30 days and no like Mogul Mastermind.
Oh, no, you go ahead. I think you just need to boost the energy for it rather than us not being as nice. And that'll make up for all the swear words I put in it.
All right.
This takes energy too.
Mike got a question here.
What are you most excited about moving forward with AI?
Ooh. I am excited to see where this goes. I know that might be hard for some people to picture, but I have a feeling that in 5 years things are going to change. In some ways, this is going to sound cliche, but in some ways things are going to change far more than what we think they will now. With our current perspective, there will be other things that will probably just stay the same. I think there will be, well, okay, look at history. Look at some of the big technological changes we've had in history. And let's just go back in time from where we're at now and go back, 100 years. So what did we have in the last several years? I mean, we've had the advent of the internet, and then we had global telecommunications. We've had, you go far enough back, we've had the automobile. Every one of those were revolutionary changes in their own way. But what happened is that, yes, it eliminated a lot of the jobs that were made redundant at that period of time, but there's been a lot of new jobs that have been created. One famous example, okay, so let's talk about the automobile. The automobile might have put a lot of blacksmiths out of business, right? But what did they become? They became mechanics. They became people that serviced automobiles. They became people that manufactured automobiles. So those jobs changed. They became welders and machinists. So we don't know right now the kind of changes that are coming. They are going to be revolutionary, I think. They're going to be phenomenal because what this technology allows us to do, once we grasp what we can do with it, it's hard to say. Will it get us to Mars faster? Maybe, probably, maybe beyond, a lot sooner than what we thought. Maybe we'll have interplanetary missions. Maybe we'll invent the warp drive at some point much sooner than we thought. We can ask AI. Somebody is probably going to use it to invent transparent aluminum, finally. Which Star Trek episode was that? That was like 2 or 3? I don't know.
It was Wonder Woman 2 with her invisible plane.
I had something that flashed into my mind there, but I'm probably not. I'll get in trouble if I go there, especially since we're on live, going around the world, being recorded. That's the worst part of it. That's right.
Under your friend's alias name.
Yes.
We got some questions over here. I recognize that face. All right.
Akib. All right.
Awesome presentation, Clayton. I just asked ChatGPT. I put a prompt in this that gave your website and what your talk is about, and we'll ask what kind of question I should ask.
Oh boy. You're cheating.
Yeah.
I did not tell you to do that.
And it said, this is ChatGPT based on my prompt. It said, with your experience blending technical systems and strategic storytelling, how do you decide when not to use AI or automation in media and marketing? And what's the red line? So when do you decide to use it? When do you decide not to use it? And then I kind of had a follow-up question after that.
Okay, I've got an example of that. So I was experimenting with using AI for creating motion in pictures, like taking a still photo and actually creating sort of simulated drone footage with a still photo. I fed an image into a platform, so just a picture, just a still picture. Fed that into the platform, and I said, okay, I want a smooth panning motion, simulating drone flight. And it looked good at first, but as it turned out of the range of the original photo, what it did is it invented this subdivision that didn't exist. So obviously that's not going to work for a real estate video because it's not real, it's fake. So a red line is definitely using imaginary information when you're trying to project something that is real. Go ahead with your follow-up.
Okay, that's good. I was curious about like creativity and creating arts and stuff like that. And then generally just using like our abilities to think. Do you think that we're reaching a threshold of human intellectual abilities?
Well, that's a deep question.
With the ability, because we're going to be using this for everything here, right? So
yes,
that we're just at a peak of some process
of our own ability to think. We might have even passed that peak, and I'll give you a reason why. My background, a lot of it is in surveying and mapping, and so I used to pride myself in being able to get around the city without Google Maps. Now, when I travel across the city, I punch an address into Google Maps, and that has caused me to slip in some of my navigation ability. The reason why I do it, though, is because it updates traffic slowdowns in real time. And when I started, the way I learned that was because I was coming into the city one day, and I went to go and take the Henday Southwest. And those of you that drive it know the slowdown that happens there late in the afternoon. So I had the location in. I was taking the Henday. I said, okay, this is fine. And then it said, and it wanted to take me up this other direction. I thought, well, that's weird. Why is it wanting to take me up this way? Well, I found out why. Because traffic was stopped dead because of an accident that was just up ahead. So I was able to see all the brake lights that were coming up there, and I said, oh, okay, that's why she was telling me to go off to the right. So I took the next exit and was able to avoid that tie up there. But that's kind of an example of how we're already using AI anyway. Because if you think about it, Google Maps isn't expressly mentioned as an AI platform, but that is kind of a use of artificial intelligence there, being able to navigate like that in real time around real accidents and incidents like that. So I don't know if that answered your question or not there, but
yeah, I totally agree. It's like we're losing our abilities to I remember I had 10 phone numbers memorized, all my friends.
Right.
Now,
who remembers a phone number anymore? No. And now you just call Alexa, or what's the other one? I try not to use them, but
Yeah, because they say if you've used Siri, you've used AI.
Yep.
Yeah. But then I did see an Instagram video the other day, and it said, I wonder what that part of my brain is doing that used to remember all the phone numbers. He's taking
yeah,
it.
Hopefully we can use it for something else, like
maybe GPT to vacation to go on. So you have a question for us?
Hi Clayton. So my question is, you mentioned ChatGPT a lot, and we all know about it, right?
Yeah.
But you also mentioned about other ones for video, for arts, and everything.
Yes.
So, is it important for us to know each and every one for specificity, or ChatGPT cover it all?
ChatGPT is kind of my Swiss Army knife. I use it for like I can get by without the other platforms. The other platforms are they can be good for some different things. I've heard people now. I'm just passing this on. This isn't my own personal experience, but I've actually heard that some people like using Grok because of it's tied in with X, and so there's a lot of real time information there. Now we can have arguments on the quality of the information, but you're getting some real time information if you're doing some research on different current event topics and things like that. Some people have said that Claude is another AI platform that's out there. A lot of people like using that for coding, for developing applications and that. Funny enough, I was telling the story to somebody else earlier. A friend of mine and I were actually developing an automatic trading system where we've just come up with we used ChatGPT to kind of conceptualize the idea and figure out how we're going to put this all together. So we spent about 3 hours on a call the other day, and then my friend kind of took the ball and ran with it. He went and used ChatGPT to come up with the codes that he would, and he's not a programmer. He was talking to me about Python and all this, and I know a little bit about that, but I know he never knew about that before. So the fact that he learned it from ChatGPT was pretty neat. He put together a rough working program. So it was actually doing a few things, but it would just stop. It would stall. He hit a wall. And so I said, okay, well, try Claude. I know that people have said they like using Claude for coding. And so he did that, and he said that actually was worse. So I thought, okay, well, try Grok. So he put it through Grok, and then he texted me back about 3 hours later, and he says, I think we actually have something that works. So he's actually got it in testing right now, where he's having the unit do some paper trading. So it kind of ties in. Does any of you trade stocks or crypto and all that? Okay, I won't get too much into the weeds, but he's basically tying TradingView to interactive brokers and executing automatic trades that way. So pretty neat stuff there. But so different platforms will do different things. I find that ChatGPT is a really good general use AI platform. It's what I started with, and it's like most other things, people are going to like the first thing they start with. So if you start off with Grok or Perplexity or any of the other platforms out there, if that's the one you started with and you just get used to how it works, you'll probably just stick with it.
Have you noticed particular biases of certain platforms? Because I have. Like, they go in different, like when you use different, say, ask the same question across different platforms, there's some huge biases on them.
I've heard people say that. I haven't I haven't looked out for it myself, so I can't really say it, but I've heard plenty of people say that, yeah, there's different biases out there, especially with, there's a famous incident with Grok, the platform that's tied to X, where it put out some pretty, we'll just say very interesting information when it came to a certain former German chancellor. But so apparently that got fixed pretty quick. But yeah, I would not be. They're all trained on different sets of information. So I don't have all the specifics on what all they're trained with. But they all have their own little tweaks and their own sets of information they're trained with. So and I have heard people say that one thing they like to do is that they like to take the output from one platform and then they feed it into another and have it reanalyze it. So because they'll get a slightly different viewpoint on each one of them and a different angle, and a lot of times it'll come up with ideas that we just didn't think of going in.
Yeah, as part of Google Workspace, I had a Gemini Pro, and that it doesn't even know its own stuff. So like, yeah, it's eye-opening just to understand, to see the limitations.
Yeah, and I haven't used Gemini a lot. I've played with it a little bit just to check it out, and I can say I did. But yeah, ChatGPT's been my go-to. Second would be Grok. Gemini I have played with a little bit, and I can see where it's quite useful because it ties into your Google suite of software. So you can do things where you're tying in Google Sheets and Google Docs and your email and things like that. So you know,
It has massive errors. That's what I've noticed so far.
I'm
It doesn't even know its own processes. It doesn't even know how to use it doesn't even know how to do Google stuff. So that's where it's just like, oh, it's part of the, you get it as part of the pacing, but then it's like, no, it doesn't even work. So
kind of unimpressive. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
just hang on a sec.
Okay.
So I know you have a membership with Otter. You obviously have a membership with ChatGPT. Do you have memberships with several others that you mentioned, Grok and stuff like that? And then how different are they? And especially for those that are in the room, maybe still thinking about getting a membership. Just curious on maybe the difference between the two.
Well, and actually, thanks for that reminder because, yes, I pay for ChatGPT. I pay for Otter. I pay for 11 Labs because I'm using those in production work. The rest of the platforms, I've got free accounts with them. One thing I will mention with ChatGPT, and this comes back to the privacy issue there, with ChatGPT Plus, there is a toggle that you can switch off so that your personal information isn't used to train the models. So there is a little bit of a privacy benefit to that. But it's not by default. You have to go in and you have to actually say, you have to flick that switch over and say, no, I don't, I want to keep my stuff private.
Oh, I just
Yes.
Sorry, you mentioned something about on your website. You do have ideas and suggestions for the prompts. Is that correct?
Yes. If you go to my website, which is, if you go there, there should be a little window that pops up that says you just put your email in and then you can download a document, or it'll actually be emailed to you. And it's got a prompting guide in there, and then it's got a list of other resources in there.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
I'll let a question online here too. Nico, did you want to say?
Okay. An online question. This is novel. All right. Our first one.
Question here from Tyson. How specifically are people using AI for reinvesting?
For real estate investing? Okay, I have something for you here. Well, we could go into a demo and I could show you one of the uses for it. So aside from using it for content generation, so when if you want to promote yourself and you want to get content out there, AI is really helpful for that. It can be helpful in analyzing deals. And so there are people like I mentioned Ballpark, powered with AI, that can analyze that. They really cut down the underwriting time. You can use it for analyzing some of your own deals. Again, be very careful with the numbers that come out of it because you still have to verify it, but it can speed up some of the process of doing the analysis. So, and then another use, it would be for, I don't know, what else would you want to use AI for when it comes to real estate investing, folks? So you got analysis, you got content.
it's interesting that, sorry, what's this?
I could be Donahue, but I'm told that I've got to stay in the range of the camera here, so I can't go too far this way or that way.
Yeah, it's just really interesting what you said about, it's something I hadn't thought about because I had plugged in one of my contracts to analyze.
Oh, that's a good one. Yes.
And I never even thought to remove personal information. So I guess that has that's a good insight, but it was super helpful because it was like, what are the requirements in this contract? Boom. Oh, like the other thing too is like action items that we might have missed in conversations. So like as we had an email train going back and forth, and then using that to say, what were the talking points in this email? And I found that one time that's where Gemini was useful, and it was able to pick up, these are the things that the other person was asking. I was like, oh, I missed that, right? Like when I read through the email, I missed that thing, but then the Gemini was able to go through it and pick up on the asks and the commitments made.
And that's I'm glad you mentioned the contract one, because that's a good one too. Now, Richard isn't in the room here. Richard Bell, the lawyer. So I can say this because lawyers don't want to hear you say that, oh yeah, feed the contract into ChatGPT. Now, I'll say that that's okay for big asterisks here, but it's okay for a quick review of something. You do not want to trust the recommendations that comes out of it just without question, right? It might be able to help you to get some insights out of the contract that might help you to ask more informed questions of your lawyer. So that's another use of it. There might be little things in there, little clauses that you may not have you might have brushed over them before, but I've run a few contracts through ChatGPT, and I actually flagged a few things for a little further consideration where I just thought that, oh, okay, I didn't actually think of it that way. So one was a lease agreement, and one was a recent offer to purchase that I received on a condo. So that's another use for AI there.
Ask ChatGPT, who in the contract is paying for the lawyer's fees? Make sure that one time I had a contract and I just missed it. ChatGPT would have pitched it up, but it was a new contract that the buyer given me.
Oh, okay.
I missed the part where the buyer has put in that the seller pays, the lawyer pays, so little things like that.
I just also was going to add, I know that when purchasing a condo, you've got to have a condo doc review. Some people do it themselves. Some people hire a company, and some of those companies are starting to use AI to review the docs.
Yeah. Yeah, and there are services that's used. I posted about this online a few weeks ago, where because of who owns a condo here? If you admit to it, okay. How many of you have been hit with a special assessment, a significant one where you may or may not have had to take out of your savings for your RRSP or anything like that? Only me. Okay. Oh, okay. A couple others. Okay, good. I don't feel so bad now. So. This is going into one of the uses for AI. So yes, and Devin's right. You can take those condo documents, and there's services that will analyze these for you. They're probably going to be using AI anyways, but this is a way to do a good preliminary pass of those documents. So again, just at least at a high level, flag some items that might be in those condo documents. There might be restrictions in there. You might not be able to rent it. You might not be able to rent it short term. Things like that. There might be some items in the minutes that might flag you to the thought that, there may be a special assessment coming up because there is this major maintenance issue that somebody was aware of, and it might be an issue when the next report comes out. So things like that. Let's, since we're on the topic of a use for real estate, let's go into the demonstration that I've got here next. Perfect. And then we'll do that. So we'll build a real estate ad. And first off, can I borrow somebody's services as a scribe here? Just to write down a few ideas here. Any volunteers?
I got it.
All right, Cody. All right, you got a piece of paper there?
I'll get one for you.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to picture this house. All right, we got our paper there. All right, let's picture a really nice house. How many square feet is this house going to be? 2,500? 2,500. Who's got 3,000? Okay, 2,500 square feet. Now, 2,500 square feet, that's probably going to be a two-story, or it'd be a really nice bungalow. Two-story? All right, 2,500 square feet, two-story. What neighborhood is this in? Parkview, okay. I'll just go with the loudest voice. So 2,500 square foot, two-story in Parkview. What else do we want to know? How about how many bedrooms?
4.
4. I heard 4 first. 4 bedrooms. All right. Garage?
Double attached.
Only double? Life's too short to go double. Let's go with a triple garage. Triple garage. We got stuff to store, people. All right. What's in the basement? Workout room? I heard workout room? All right. Golf simulator. Okay, well. All right, and where is this in relation to a school? How far is a school? 5-minute drive. I heard across the street. Walking distance across the street. We could say that. All right, that's good enough. All right. Oh, shopping. Yes, good idea. Where's the nearest shopping center? How far of a drive?
2 blocks to the strip mall with a cafe.
Oh, 2 blocks to a strip mall with a cafe. Are you writing all this down?
So a strip club and a
Two blocks from the strip club, the strip mall. I'm sure we've got to keep this a family show here. All right. One more item. What's one more item? Transit. How far from transit? So it's going to be not too close, but 3 blocks away. 3 blocks away from an LRT station. Okay. I'm going to try this. This kind of worked when I tried it. So I have to pull out my phone. I'm using the ChatGPT mobile app for this next. I'm going to call it a trick, but that's only if it works. And I've got to put my magic wand down here. Take a drink of water, because when you speak for a little while, your mouth gets a little dry. Never had so many people look at me while I drank before.
great. What a secret.
Should go to the strip club, he says. All right. So I'm going to start up a new chat. So again, I'm in the ChatGPT mobile app here, and let's see if this works.
Absolutely. I'll keep it simple and straightforward.
Oh, hey Cody, I need you to come over here because I need. I can't. Nico's going to give me trouble if I get out of frame here. So, all right, let's give Cody a hand here for coming on up and helping out here.
Fun moment there. No worries, I'll stay nice and steady on my end. And hey, big hand to Cody indeed for stepping in and keeping everything under.
All right, we need you to help us write a real estate ad. We'll give you some facts, then I want you to ask me 3 more questions before proceeding with the draft. Do you understand?
Absolutely, I understand perfectly. Go ahead and give me the facts you'd have, and once I have those, I'll ask you a few clarifying questions before we jump into drafting the ad.
All right, our house is 2,500 square feet in the Parkview neighborhood, has 4 bedrooms, a triple car garage, golf simulator in the basement. It's across the street from a school, 2 blocks away from a strip mall, not club, and 3 blocks from LRT. The master suite also has a jacuzzi tub that can accommodate 2 obese people or 4 people, 4 average people. This is recorded. I shouldn't say that.
No worries at all. We could definitely keep it more polished. Can you hear that? Just focus on the highlight. So I've got the main details. It's a 2,500 square foot home in Parkview. 4 bedrooms, triple car garage, golf simulator in the basement, really close to a school, a strip mall in the LRT. It's got a pretty luxurious master suite with a big jacuzzi tub. Let me ask you a couple questions to fine-tune the ad, and then we'll get that draft going.
Go ahead with your questions.
Absolutely. So first question, what kind of tone or vibe are you aiming for with this ad? Are we going more luxurious and upscale, or more warm and family-friendly? Second question, do you have any must-mention selling points or unique details about the neighborhood or the house that you definitely want to highlight? And third question, who is your ideal buyer? Are we talking families, professionals, or maybe someone looking for a bit of everything? Let me know, and we'll shape it up.
Luxurious?
Luxurious.
Luxurious? What was one of the other things? Ideal buyer. Who's our ideal buyer? Family? Professionals with a family. Let's see what's
perfect. That gives me a great sign of direction. So we'll go for a luxurious tone. And I'll aim it at professionals with a family who are looking for that mix of upscale comfort and convenient amenities. Let me go ahead and put together a draft for the ad with that in mind.
Proceed.
Absolutely, let's do it. luxurious family living in Parkview. Discover the epitome of upscale comfort in the heart of Parkview. This stunning 2,500 square foot home is tailored for professionals who want the best of both worlds. A luxurious retreat for their family, and a location that makes life easy, with 4 spacious bedrooms, a triple car garage, and a basement featuring your very own golf simulator. This home is a haven of leisure and style. You'll find the Master Suite's jacuzzi tub is perfect for unwinding, whether it's a quiet night in, or home at a peace after a busy day. Location is everything. You're right across the street from a school, just 2 blocks from convenient shops, and 3 blocks from the LRT, making your commute a breeze. Welcome to a home where luxury eats family-friendly living. Come see it for yourself. Let me know if you like any tweaks.
All right. Don't thank me, thank ChatGPT. It did the heavy lifting there. But you can see how it does a lot of the donkey work when it comes to generating all that extra verbiage in an ad. It also helps with the structure of the ad. It also helps with how the wording flows. And as you get more advanced with using whatever AI platform you use, whether it's ChatGPT or another, you can use it for different copywriting structures. You can start tailoring it. You can start really take an experiment or start experimenting with it for different outputs. We can take this first draft now, and now we can start refining it from there. So, I mean, we can go through another round. There's a couple of details that we might have forgot that we want to add in there, like it's a pie-shaped lot and all that sort of thing. And you've got a hot tub in there and all that sort of stuff. So, you can keep on refining it from there. So that's one example of how you can use AI. The voice feature is pretty neat to play with. You can use this for a lot of things. It's like just you're out on a walk and you know how you're out on a walk sometimes, unless it's only me. You've got some ideas that you've got brainstorms that just come out. Well, you can start chatting in ChatGPT with it. Get it to start logging these things and get it to start maybe working on them and start refining some of these ideas. So, that's another example. So I hope that I answered the question on how AI is being used for some real estate purposes, and I hope you like that example of writing up an ad. And a question over here.
Just a basic question. So when you talk Twitter stuff, does it automatically save to your notes or something like that? Is there a function on your phone?
Search online. Will it automatically save?
Does it automatically? So the question is, does it automatically save? What it does actually, I can go back into the text, and I can get what it just gave all of us. So it's stored in the chat. Yeah.
Then we do have to wrap it up.
Okay.
Are we going to stick around for a little bit for any more questions?
Sure. Yeah, I'll stick around. I've got a couple of gifts to give people, or at least one anyway.
A magic wand.
Not the magic wand. I don't want to have to buy another one for $30 on Amazon. Okay, this is an example of a customized GPT. So you can scan this. This will give you direct access. For those of you that have ChatGPT, which is the majority of the room here, this gives you access to the Virtual Mastermind GPT. And what this is, how many here have read the book or listened to the audiobook Think and Grow Rich? So that should be a majority of the room. Okay, do you remember Napoleon Hill's Virtual Council, where he had the 9 people on that council? That's who he went to for advice. Well, I kind of distilled that into a GPT. So I put the instructions into a GPT, and so you can use that. So I'm interested in your feedback as you go ahead and use that. So please let me know what you think of it. And other than that, if you want the slides for tonight, you can download them at this link. For those of you that registered for this prior, that should be coming into your email boxes at about 9 o'clock tonight. So hope that you find that useful. And I'll be sticking around here. So if you have any questions, happy to chat with you more on it. And other than that, thank you for your time and attention, and have a good night.
Cheers.